I am that girl who is talking to you in her pajamas today. And let's not pretend that I haven't been mostly in my pajama bottoms for most of the conversations you've heard me share with you, regardless of whether it's here on That Girl or with Conversations on Heaven on Earth. I like to be comfortable, and so do my clients. And this is a fantastic way for us to have journeys with our quantum sessions together. So regardless of whether you're doing a BQH session with me or a QHHT session with me, you'll find me in my pajamas. Fun fact, most of my clients are so easy, I can get them into bed real quick. Oh, my jokes are disgustingly lame, but you know, it keeps me in joy. And this is what I love saying to my clients who are really a little bit nervous sometimes when they're having sessions with me for the first time, because they're still like, oh my gosh, Jo, I don't know what my subconscious is going to say. What if they said that one time I shoplifted or something else, right? So they're going through this guilt phase of confessions to me with everything, just in case the subconscious told on them. And so they're a little bit nervous. And so sometimes I will say silly little jokes, probably quite inappropriate, like, are you this easy to get into bed? Because I've just started speaking to you a few hours ago and here you are hopping into bed. So yeah, it's a habit, right? It's a choice, it's a journey. And I find humor to be quite funny sometimes, you know, but then you have that opposite where some people are using humor as a prickly mechanism to sort of destroy others. That's not me. That really never has been me, because that's not really fun, is it? It's sort of quite demeaning. So you know, I like to have true integrity and agenda with my approaches and opinions of things and people. And so I like to have an open mind to much that's going on, because if I let my 3D judgmental or opinions lead me, I would miss a whole lot of really big, significant things that are important to humanity to help humanity have these really interesting experiences right now. And it only takes us a few seconds to look into what the mainstream media are talking about for us to think, okay, so why is this significant right now for humanity to experience? We've got a few court cases with a few celebrities. What is the lessons and experiences there? And potentially for those people who have been in domestic violence, who have been in drug abuse relationships or physical abusive relationships, the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard 12-week, it is, that's a hobby. That's a hobby being committed to watching that. This is a journey that you are all learning, whoever is listening to those and who is ever keeping up with that. Very interesting. A whole lot of inner work there, which will be helped to be brought out to your attention and focused on. You may not have had that abusive relationship in this lifetime. It may be still something sticking from a past lifetime. So whatever is happening right now is always very interesting to be able to help people release that trauma, right? So whatever you're attracted to, whatever you can't stop binge watching or whatever, that is something that is really significant for you to pay attention to and just question. I wonder why. I wonder what the lessons here or the purpose is here for me. So yeah, it's very, very, very fascinating times, and I'm pondering and watching with much interest and closeness the unfolding of certain people who keep coming into sessions and their agenda to humanity and what they're doing and what they're buying and how that's all unfolding. And so it's not a coincidence, my friends, that in my New Zealand news, we are hearing the reports of a big company just being bought by a large sum of money. And when you convert it into New Zealand dollars, it is $6.5 billion. But instead of saying 6.5 in the media, they're just saying 66 $66 billion in New Zealand currency. So when you just go lazy and don't say the billion full out, it just looks like 66B. And when you look at 66B, isn't very similar to almost 666. And it reminds me deeply and dearly of Mr. Nostradamus and his delightful ways and his insights into our different futures. I must go back and listen to those many sessions that I had with him, because they were so confusing for me experiencing them, because he was on the poppy tea. So I sort of felt a little bit discombobulated with all of that experience, and kind of weirdly high in a weird way, while I still was quite impacted by the challenges of his life, in terms of him being given such scary, fucking really scary dreams, which he had to note down and be able to map out in his own shorthand, to be able to get them to stop giving him that dream, because if he kept dismissing it, they would keep repeating it, until he started to take account and notes of it. And his role in his lifetime was very significant to help people. And him and Dolores had some fantastic years together, working to be able to understand what messages he was trying to share to her for her time back in his time. And so when we did a few sessions with him, it was very interesting, because we were at these nexus points that were just very interesting, and he couldn't even see beyond and past. It was like, you know, like when you sort of see like a spider web and they've got all these end points, and we're at this long end point where it all is connected in, but we've gone on this really long, interesting tangent one direction, and we're still in this one direction, and we still have a few little bits of experiences, and not even paths anymore, my friends. It's so interesting when we ask about time and how many timelines we have, and we know that there are so many people trying to tell you, oh, it's infinite timelines, infinite possibilities of realities, and all this stuff. You know what I've just thought about? I know I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to shock you, so brace yourself. And you know, every time I say this, an angel gets her wings, a unicorn gets its horn, and fairies and butterflies have parties in the garden. Interns are free. It's a shock, I know. It came out of nowhere. I know it's, you know. So anyway, yes, I'm still in my pajamas. That's the kind of day I'm planning to have, right? It's the weekend I'm having. It's still long, and I think it's Wednesday. Because I'm just in this. I'm living my best pajama life, and I'm taking you with me. So anyway, back to Mr. Elon Musk and Nostradamus, right? So what Dolores and Nostradamus did together was fantastic, right? But we know that from their point of view, where she was asking, she was on a different bit of the spider's web, right? So you know how you have all those different anchor points of the spider web, and then the spider does the round magical whatever dance through its bum to like give it super strong string. That. So she was on a different anchor point, and we're on a different anchor point now. We've somehow crossed over. But interestingly enough, how magical it is. So the Antichrist that Nostradamus and Dolores Cannon were discussing and exploring was a single man, right? Big job, big role he had, right? He was just a single man. He died in the 90s. Awkward, right? You can't play out your full Mr. Evil, what is it? Mr. Evil plans for humanity if you did. Bummer. But you know, so that sort of changed things a lot, but probably for the best. But also, from my judgmental opinion, we would have had some really fucking scary years, my friends, between 90 and 2000. That would have been intensive. But for those 10 years, humanity would have woken up all way back then to the agenda of corruption and crime and manipulation and money and greed and all that sort of stuff, right? We would have just, that Brazilian wax would have been ripped off humanity's eyes. Still in my pajamas, waking up. I'm suddenly here now with you. Hi. Okay, so Fun fact, never had a Brazilian, but I always imagine it being fucking painful. And the most painfulest thing ever, really, apart from childbirth. But for some reason, I think it's hilarious to say ripping off a Brazilian wax. Might be some trauma from another lifetime. Obviously not this planet. Anyway, okay, sorry. So I'm going to focus, okay, because I'm being serious today. From now on, I am. Okay, because it is important. So yeah, the perceived perspective from Dolores and Nostradamus is that this big one single Antichrist was going to come in and screw with humanity and awaken humanity intensively for 10 years, right? Until he died in 2010. He was supposed to die 2010. He died 20 years earlier, I think 10 years earlier, screwed up the whole predictions that him and Dolores had been working for. So fantastic, right? Dolores is like, woo, fantastic. She didn't think it was fantastic, but she was also surprised, delightfully surprised, but also nervous because, well, what happens next? Because she knew humanity needed to be woken up. So what's next then? If this one big dude, one big agenda who's going to first of all destroy the illusion of Catholic Church and the Catholic the Vatican City and all that sort of stuff, right? The Antichrist was going to come in because the Antichrist was Muslim. He was going to come in and he was going to just spread all of the truth. He was going to just be honest to everyone about what was in the catacombs in the Vatican City and disclose all of the truth. So what's underneath the Vatican, or what was underneath the Vatican, maybe could still be, is all the real actual Bibles, which talks about other beings. It talks about the Arcturians, it talks about the Palladians, it talks about so much real stuff. But that's not what when you're trying to control a planet, you don't want the full truth. You want to edit that quite a lot. You want to pick and choose what narrative you want people to be blindly following and trusting, right? So you don't want the bigger truth, and you certainly don't want, if you're going to be a human warlord, you don't want humans to know about other real, true, high-dimensional lords that it could actually come and smite you if you are being naughty or whatever, right? So big information was going to be disclosed quite quickly as soon as the Antichrist got into his full power. And he was actually going to be able to go in and disclose to the world this information from underneath the Vatican City. And that was going to give everyone the belief that he was going to be amazing in helping people and liberate people from with the truth, right? So yay, we all love saviors and we all love people giving us the truth, right? And, so we instantly loved him and trusted him because we were just so shocked of the information that has been sitting pretty and keeping safe under the Vatican City. So that sounded fantastic, right? So anyway, what we've discovered now on the new timeline that we're on is that there is many now smaller versions of the Antichrist, right? They all have the same agenda to awaken humanity, but they have different, there's quite a few different ones of them, right? So it's not just one person now, there has been a few. And the number 666 was very significant, and it also represented the World Wide Web. And this is why Dolores was really nervous about the internet coming, because Nostradamus said, while it gives you great information, it can also give you great disinformation. And look where we're at today. I mean, that's, obvious now. Look how it's very hard to find the actual truth because there's so much ego and so much limited perspective of the higher information, right? This is why if you're still not too sure who's telling the truth and what's really going on, and if you still think that you can create your own reality and all that sort of stuff, have a session, ask your subconscious that and see where you go from there, right? Because they will explain it to you better than I can. They will explain it to you perfectly for you to be able to understand the information and what to do and where to go next, right? And this is why, even if you haven't organized or found an intern, to start writing your list of questions is super significant and important, right? So find out what's still sticking for you. What are your burning desires to find out truly what's What's going on? Is it just curious questions now, or is there something seriously, a big key point that's making you sort of sticky and not too sure where your stepping stones are and how to get over that, that really busy, rapid river, a stream, ocean, I don't know, and to get to find where you are and to find who you are. Super significant, right? So very interesting. So I know in America, in other countries, your news would have like translated it into different money, but for me to see it in 66B cracked me up quite a lot. So I have heard in sessions about Elon, absolutely I have, and I'm sorry that they are private, but most of them to a certain point were public. But obviously, you know that I do a lot more private sessions than public sessions, and it always has been the case. So it's very, very interesting what's going to come. And remember, I've said that we can be in balance and neutral with everything, right? The information, I can promise you, if the information about Gaia being able to suddenly be healed, I would tell you in a heartbeat, regardless of whether I was freaking naked, I would be like giving you a voice message or doing something, right? Nothing's going to stop me from holding the truth back with that, right? Because that's really fucking important information, right? So I wouldn't be like, oh, hey, just go to an intern to find the information out. No, that's significant. I would be giving you significant information. Right now, it is just all, we're waiting to see everything unfold. And it's been very funny. A lot of people have suddenly realized that a lot of the influencers that they have been listening to loyally are full of shit. And I'm not laughing at them being full of shit, but I'm laughing at them suddenly noticing it, because it's fantastic, right? Because when people keep telling you dates and they never come and they can never explain why, it's very interesting, right? They just keep tripping themselves up. And they could try to half explain it, but it's just not the case. We just don't, the collectives know, and they've told us, and I've tried to mansplain it to you, that there's quite a few things that need to happen before the big shift, right? And what the bigger event would be for most of you guys would be the laser event, right? So that would be where the majority of exit points happen first, before you know that we're then on the old earth. Right. And so, being on the old earth is not a punishment, and it's not bad. It is just having those last experiences on earth for those really important lessons. And you may be just trying to support other people who haven't truly learned how to trust or survive or awaken to the bigger things that are going on, the most significant and important things. You basically get tripped back almost into you get definitely everything gets fine. You have to focus. It's kind of like a lockdown again, but different. So nothing to fear, but fear itself. And are we going to create the worry and panic, or are we just going to go with the flow, knowing that everything is fine? Knowing that many people who are exiting, they are needing to get going with supporting those people who are exiting, because people have been shifting off this planet for many years, as we know. And what does that look like? That looks like them preparing the big evacuation of this planet. So they could be assisting with the trees or some animals or a whole lot of other things, right? Remember, this planet is being evacuated, and it's not just humans that are being assisted and helped. So lots of souls from lots of souls from plants and animals have also needed to be assisted with. So there's lots going on, and this is why our teams are very, very busy, but they also want us to know that we're here to be of service, and we signed up for these life contracts to help humanity and this planet. And so we might as well just do it. We're here now. We've got the t-shirts, we've got the meat suits. So we might as well just get on with it and focus on our true mission. And we're very capable of doing this. It's very easy when we are actually noticing and being responsible for our duties and roles. And what they sort of showed me the other day was that you're on this big bus. So imagine that you're in a bus with your friends and family, and the direction we're going in this bus, right? You're almost at the back of the bus, and you know that there are lots of worried people trying to navigate and tell the driver where to go, the best way forward, and all this sort of stuff. But you know where they're all going. You have no worries about it. You're quite comfortable in knowing the information that you know, that we're going, you know, where we're heading and why we're having to go through all of these interesting roads and journeys and experiences to get to the point of the shift. And they're showing me that while you are listening to everyone else panic and freak out and try to give directions and misinformation for different directions and going the long road and blah, 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 lots of opinions going on, you haven't quite spoken up yet. And you almost are at the back of the bus and you know exactly what needs to happen. We don't need to fear. All is well. Everything is going to be okay. Everything has to be okay. It doesn't make any sense for it to not be okay. So whatever happens, I have faith and trust, all is well. So you're not speaking up for some reason to support those people who are in your life circle, life bubble, and for whatever reason, because you know you can't stop those people who are panicking, and you can't stop them from having opinions and arguing with each other about which is the best direction from their own opinions, because they've heard from so and so that, you know, New Earth is already here or something. And so you keep quiet because you can't stop them from panicking, and you can't stop them having their misunderstandings, right? So, but while you're doing that, while you're not speaking up, you're stopping yourself. And the teams are sort of saying, why are you still stopping yourselves? You're bigger dimensional beings here. And why are you letting 3D egos and 3D fears and 3D mindsets limit you and stop you? And you can definitely speak up now. You can definitely share your truths, whatever that is, in terms of dealing with emotions. You know the emotions. You know that the 3D life is here to play with the emotions and to explore the emotions and honor the emotions and release the emotions to find the joy and the peace and acceptance. So that is what you can share. That is absolutely what you can share. And you know, when people are looping and they don't know how to deal with prickly cactuses and a whole lot of sort of stuff, empower them to know that hurt people. And so we just need to love them. We don't need to play with them. When are you going to get sick of being pricked by prickles? So anyway, there's lots to be said there. And so see what you're doing. Are you sharing and not being afraid of, you know, having some aggressive person disagree with you, you know, because they're going to react. And so you're just acknowledging their emotions. Why are you worried? We're all here together. We're going to get to the journey one way. We're going to get to the destination one way or another. So it was sort of an interesting little analogy, but they sort of saw, for some of you, you are just looking out the window waiting to get there yet. Are we here yet? And you're sort of seeing lots of people not knowing how to manage their own emotions, and they're sort of reacting and having lots of conflict with each other. And it sort of seems like you need to use your balance and wisdom and insight to be able to just trust and share with them all is well, you know, because all is well. And you know that, and you don't have to even explain why all is well. But it doesn't seem like a logical response to be in high fear and high stress and high worry when you can actually, it's a lot of wasted energy, right? It's freaking exhausting to be high stress and worry. And so I know that many of you will be fantastic at this, but you've been so suppressed sometimes, but you're still suppressing yourself. So it's not the time to suppress yourself anymore. Anyway, for whoever that was, yeah, it's interesting times, right? So empower yourselves to speak your understanding of the 3D in terms of emotional ranges and what we're supposed to be doing with the emotions, observing them, but not holding on to them, acknowledge them and accept them, and, you know, reassure everyone it's normal to feel these things, but what's next? What can we look forward to? Because we know we can look forward to amazing things. Absolutely, right? And even if you're not going to the new earth, there's so many more amazing opportunities and experiences to be had after the shifts. So it was very interesting, and it gave me great joy yesterday to do a session with a woman who's only been listening to these sessions for a month. And I was just thinking back to when did I listen to, how was I processing this information after I was listening to it for a month? And I still would have been binge eating and stressed and quite scared and worried and a whole lot of stuff. And she's been listening to these sessions quite intensively now for sort of like the past month. She's even gone out and had her own session with someone else, which I thought, wow, this is amazing. You know, she's really stepping up. She's really complying to the advice that you know, the beings are trying to ask you to do, to help you, to support you. And it was fascinating. So I had a session with her. Wasn't a surprise that she was a volunteer, and it was very beautiful. It actually made me really emotionally moved when she explored her other lifetimes of being essences of water and essences of sound frequency. In fact, it actually gave me that love source energy moved emotion. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. So it's not her first time evacuating planets, let's just say that. And so it's incredible, the people that are finding these sessions. So I just want to give everyone a big love hug and acknowledge how epic this is, how epic this information is. It's certainly not for everyone. This is too much information for most people who have not done enough inner work to be able to get to this point, to be able to understand that there is no more lifetimes here on Earth after this one, until it's refurbished, and that's going to be eons and eons. And I don't know the concepts of a large amount of time, but add that in and times it by a lot. So it's very, very, very interesting. There's so much to be said, but all is well. And as we are seeing humanity needing to be awoken to certain agendas and certain people's life contracts, and how they have gained ridiculous amounts of money through off-earth technology and device and wisdom, and how they think that they should inherit the earth and be a leader to the whole world because of his birthright from another planet. It's very interesting times, very, very, very interesting times. And so we can be so grateful to our collectives who can see and know all. It's all in their hands, my friends. We can just sit back and relax, watching it all unfold as it needs to be for those people who haven't quite got there. So fascinating times. So let's see what the disclosures are soon. Let's see what comes out, because we know instantly new information, right? Remember with Dolores's work, she had to go around the world doing sessions with people, write a book about it, and then share it. You know, and that could be quite a few years between a session and then the book being released publicly. If you're lucky to meet her and see her when she was doing her talks and lectures, that was fantastic too. But the information that she was getting from sessions took a long time to reach to you. But it was also perfect time when it reached you, when you started discovering her books and reading her information as well. And so now I can do a session with someone overseas and be able to share it publicly within hours. And so the fast speed of wisdom and knowledge we can gain from our collectives is very, very, very fast, right? It's very significant that we can share new information immediately around the world. And so when new disclosures happen, that information is going to be known immediately around the world. And so this was the flip side coin of internet, wasn't it? Is that it was, great for information, but also not so great for disinformation. So it's very, very interesting what's going to unfold. And I am really excited. Really excited. And it still isn't going to be tomorrow, but it's still going to be very fast. And we will never be quite truly prepared for it when it all does unfold. It will be the most appropriate time, as many other things need to occur beforehand. So, relax, enjoy your lives that you have now. Still make sure that you have fun and that you are taking really good care of your body. And for those people, I'm just going to say quickly, for those people who think that smoking is really bad for them, ask in a session, because a lot of the times they say it's your only sort of downtime away from the kids or something, or it's a social event that you do at work. And it actually means that you have to interact with certain people that you don't normally. And so every time I've asked a subconscious, can you help my client stop smoking? They actually say they don't want you to. So I know that sugar is definitely something they do not want you to play with, but it seems like they don't mind about the smoking cigarettes. Interesting, right? So ask in a session if you were thinking that this is a really bad thing, because if you keep having cigarettes and feeling guilty, it's raising your vibration low, when actually it has got a better purpose for you and it's more significant. So ask in sessions, don't be shy. And then with marijuana, lots of people think that this is a gateway to the subconscious, and it's not really. It kind of gets you sort of close to it, but not properly. And so a lot of my clients who are smoking a lot of marijuana, they think they've got all this information from their sessions because they've got really high and they've had these delusions. And so when they ask in sessions about it, they've got it so twisted and wrong, because the marijuana isn't a true connection to your teams, right? So again, ask in sessions. You shouldn't be needing tools to get high to connect in with your teams at all, right? Because you can actually do it purely sober, in the comfort of your own home, in your jammies, as you choose. And so I want to remind you again about the power of just feeling into one word. And the word today that they want to say is, well, it's two words. They're trying to jam in two words at the same time. Love, faith, and have faith with love. So many of you get humbled when you hear in sessions that you're loved and that you've never been left alone and that you're fully supported. And it pains your guides to watch you go through such great pain as you're learning your lessons the really, really, really hard way. And they're trying to give it to you soft and easy, but sometimes when you ignore them, they get a little bit more bigger for you to focus on. And so have faith in your teams. They are experts in what they're doing. Their dimension is super advanced. And so they can see everything in the 3D, but they know everything in the 3D will be well. It's just certain lessons and experiences that must be played out for people to have those experiences, to feel all of those things, right? So super significant. Keep questioning the purpose and the lessons and the reasons why certain things are happening. Because I think the more you sense into your teams to be able to ask them, what is this court case for? Why is this so important? You'll then sort of get to be sensing the other sides of the things. Keep constantly talking to your guides like this and ask them, why was it that I was called to a tree to notice these flowers, to then put my nose into these flowers and actually take a smell, and then notice that this took me into a really beautiful, gracious place where I completely grounded myself into the now moment. Who I'm talking to, my friend, and I love you. I love all the people that I've been doing sessions with. It is incredible time. So thank you very much for letting me be on your amazing journeys. It's incredible. And I just wanted to say, with that person who I just did the session with, who's only been listening to their sessions for a month, forgot to say she's shifting with the laser. Her family is shifting with the laser. Now, if I was told this information, if I just learned this information a month ago and then was found out that my family would be exiting with the laser, I don't think I'd be so cool. But she has grown so fast and done so much of her inner work and really stepped up that it's totally fine. She's super in balance. And that fucking impresses me. Wow, that is amazing. So it gives me great hope that all of you who are listening as well are at that great balance and neutral and have done a lot of work to have full acceptance, to be able to know you can't change these things, but you can understand them and accept them and go with the flow of them, whatever happens for you. So, why resist something that is a profound experience for a profound lesson and a profound purpose? So, my friends, I love you so much. And I really, truly do hope that you take some time to honor yourself and think about your routines, your habits, and your reactions to see if there is something that you can explore a little bit more to understand about yourself and your friends. Bye.